Sound check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Can you hear me? If you can't, you should let me know. I plugged in my microphone thingy, but there's 2 places you can plug it in, and I sometimes forget which one's which. All right. Matthew, chapter 11. All right. So, Jesus starts by thanking God that he's revealed all this stuff to babes. And so that's the first point of comfort in verses 25, 6, and 7 of Matthew 11. But then he moves into verses 28, 29, and 30. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. In Acts chapter 15, the Jerusalem Council, what we see going on there is after a season of Gentiles getting saved. It's been going on for some time now. Years actually have gone by, and the Gentile church is growing. And it's actually getting to the point where the scales are probably beginning to tip, where the church is composed of more Gentiles than Jews. And what we see happen is people start telling the Gentiles, unless you're circumcised according to the custom of Moses, you can't be saved. And it goes on in Acts 15:5, it's necessary that we circumcise them and to command them to keep the law of Moses. And so they all head to Jerusalem to have this big meeting. And one of the points they make is, why do you test God by putting a yoke on the neck of the disciples, which neither our fathers nor we were able to bear? That's from the word of Peter. The word yoke was often just what's the word I'm looking for? It meant the law, right? Words mean different things in different cultures, and people understand that. We might not understand that because, well, I'm assuming most of you aren't Jewish. But the point was the yoke was the law. Now, just to finish up Acts 15, at the end of the day, what we find is that the Gentiles should not be troubled by these things. And they give them 4 little rules to follow. And it's really for the bond of fellowship. They give them 4 things to follow because Paul's actually going to contradict those things later on in his epistles. Not that like they made a rule and he's contradicting them, but these rules weren't supposed to be laws that all had to follow. The 4 things were basically, in the company of Jewish people, to be respectful. Here are 4 things you probably want to avoid in order to not offend your friends. And it's, for what it's worth, before I go back, in chapter 21 of the book of Acts, it makes it clear that they wanted Paul to let his Jewish friends know that you yourself walk orderly and keep the law. Like, yeah, the Jewish people wanted to know where Paul was at. But concerning the Gentiles who believe, we have written and decided they should observe no such thing. So regardless, backing up now, Jesus ministered to Jewish people. And so his messages really hit home with the Jewish crowd. And this idea of, come to me, all you who labor and are heavily laden, I will give you rest. You see, people are working hard. Truth be told, the message of God's grace, free grace, acceptance by God due to nothing you could ever do, that blows the minds of those who are in religions that are based off of works. The Jews worked, and they worked hard to be approved by God. And Jesus came and said, I'm going to give you a yoke, and it's going to be an easy one. I'm going to give you a yoke, and it's going to be a light burden. The Mormons are very similar, where they work. Jehovah's Witnesses, and they have to work. They have to do a bunch of stuff to be approved by God. And just the idea that salvation is by grace alone through faith alone kind of blows their minds if and when they come to understand that. This term yoke, right? When you put a yoke upon the animal, it allows you to control the animal and get it to go where you want it to go. He used farming terms because that helped, people who were farmers. You put the yoke on the ox, and the ox goes straight. That was what the idea is of the law. It was something that gave people an idea of the direction that they were supposed to go. And there was a whole lot more to it as well, with all the ceremonial aspects and the sacrificial parts. And then the Jews even had all of the civil, the laws that are just to run their nation. But Jesus says, hey, put my yoke upon you. Learn from me. I am gentle and lowly at heart. And so that's the message Jesus has for people yet today is, we get so caught up wanting all these other things, thinking we can get peace if we just, got our job situation, bought that house, fixed our marriage. But Jesus offers peace in spite of circumstances. Peace that surpasses understanding, regardless of your situation. And so he's saying, take this upon you. And what is his commandments? He makes it pretty clear in John chapter 15. This is my commandment, that you love one another. And that's it. He's trying to teach us how to love one another. Now, the Bible helps us understand what love is and what love looks like. It's not a feeling, and it's not subjective. It's not something that I get to love one way and you get to love another. God shows us what love is. His word makes it very clear to us. But this idea of the yoke, he was going to break off the old and bring in the new covenant made with his blood. And boom, we get to be a part of this. And it's an amazing thing. In short, though, he's looking for the people who are trying to earn their way to God, please God through specific acts of service or being good enough. And he's letting them know, hey, I know you're laboring. You're heavy laden. You're weighed down. And I'm here to give you rest, to give you peace, to take the burden off of you and onto me. And I think that's, again, one of the greatest things about being a Christian is that you can have peace and really know it's all going to work out because your life is in God's hands. If you've placed your life in his hands, then that's where your life is. It's in God's hands. Your life is his problem. Your needs are his needs and his place to fulfill them. So, yeah, there we go. I like this text. It's a good text. We're really getting close to the halfway point of our book. Well, we've still got a few chapters to go, I guess, but we're moving right along. So, morning by morning, get in the Word of God and let it minister to your heart and soul. God bless you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, 7:30, right here on Facebook and replayed on YouTube and else. So, you guys take care. I'll see you around.